Hey, Bramborough back with some Grand Tactician Civil War CSA campaign in the 1.06 beta. Okay, got a number of things to talk about. First, quick mention, it's come up before in the campaign and in comments and Steam discussions and other campaigns on YouTube. A lot of people are noticing here that, ooh, those forts, 18 million, that's pretty expensive. That has been brought up on the Steam discussions, and I noticed a post here within the last day or two, I think it was yesterday, that the devs have recognized that and will be lowering the cost of forts. They didn't say by how much, there. Now they only cost 17.5 million, but they're doing something. I'm sure it'll be a bigger drop than that. But they are lowering the cost of forts. That's a good idea. That's good news. In that same thread, I threw a mention in there. There's a lot of other costs you need to look at. How about these supply depots? How about these weapons at $500 a rifle? Don't stop there. Anyway, thought that was worthy of mention. Forts will be cheaper at some point, which is not the same thing as saying cheap, but they'll be cheaper than 18 million. Okay. So at the end of the last episode, we had won this the second battle of Alexandria. Patterson retreating across the river. It now looks pretty clear. He's headed over here somewhere. Let me turn that front line filter off. And the way is open now right into Washington. And I'm not going to do it. And the reason is, and we looked at this right at the end of the last episode, 69 national morale. And we're only a little over a month into the campaign. So this has come from a number of causes. Number one is 4 defeats now on the tactical map. The secession of Kentucky, the loss of Louisville, Kentucky, which, on top of the secession, independently also caused a morale drop just because of the loss of a major city. And probably also a bit from the capture of Grafton, I think. Although this is that was an occupied city, that probably wasn't an enormous hit. And then the Union in this game has an initial problem at campaign start, at least for an 1861 campaign, of Union morale just gradually drops until they win a victory in Confederate territory. So that contributed to this loss of morale as well. Now that has stopped, by the way. They haven't won a battle. However, capturing a city also counts. And they did capture Alexandria. It's a Union city right now. Now, they started the campaign controlling Alexandria, but Beauregard took it back in one of the earlier battles. And then we fell back a ways to replenish casualties. And they captured Alexandria again while we were down here by Fredericksburg. I wasn't 100% sure that counted since the Union controlled it at campaign start. But I went back into episode 10 to watch, and when Patterson captured this city for the second time, the telltale newspaper headline did pop up that corresponds to that strategic objective for the Union. So even though we're taking it back now, as we should, it's a Virginia city, the Union national morale doesn't have that gradual decline anymore from that particular cause. It's declining for other reasons. So, taking Washington, D.C. is a 20-point morale hit. That would put them below 50. And we would be 2/3 of the way toward ending the campaign. Now, if I were just doing a regular Let's Play or just playing the game on my own, okay. You know, yeah. If they're going to let us have Washington, we're going to take it. However, you know, all the look at the 1.06, the mechanics, the features, and it, you know, we're looking at a lot of stuff here, and I don't want the campaign. I want the campaign to go on for a while because there's so much stuff that's, you know, we have, you know, I want to see the interaction as more projects get unlocked. You know, higher levels of things like the admin reform and more subsidies available and all those sorts of things. And you know, there's a whole bunch of questions about how the economy's working now that it's going to take time to really see the trends. And so I want this campaign to continue on through hopefully most of 1862 at least. And I don't think that's going to happen if I just pop across the river and take Washington here. So I'm not saying I'm never going to take Washington for the entire campaign. I'm not setting a hard rule. I'm just not going to take it now. And I'm not going to take it probably for the rest of 1861 at least. Because I don't want the Union national morale taking a 20-point hit like that so early. But that's the only kind of punch that I'm pulling, though. I'm still going to fight. You know, I'm not going to deliberately throw battles, and I'm not going to go completely defensive in all three theaters. I still want to come up here and try to capture Missouri, or not capture it so much as, but liberate it, get it to secede, and join our merry band of Confederate states. Still want to do that. Definitely not going to let them have Kentucky back. I think there's going to be some fighting in here. And I'm not going to shy away from capturing other cities, you know, because they have a much, much smaller effect. Cumulatively, it's a big deal. But, you know, I think I'm not going to let myself shy away from capturing Covington if I decide that's what I want to do, or Evansville. I'm just not going to take Washington for a while. That's it. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of play like normal. Enough about that. In the last actually 2 episodes ago, our prison camp. Took a look at that and was a little, you know, I don't know if we were, but I was a little disappointed in the capacity of a prison camp. In that you spend $1.5 million and it's got a grand total of 1,000 capacity, which really translates into you're preventing like maybe 500-ish troops from re-entering the federal manpower pool, right? Because out of 1,000 troops, if they were paroled, they wouldn't all go back into the manpower pool. I would assume that they would go back in at the reenlistment rate, which is typically something around 50%, give or take a few points. So this didn't look like a very good deal. And at Tier 1, it isn't a good deal. However, what I don't know is what is the capacity of a Tier 2 and a Tier 3 POW camp? So obviously it would be more expensive to upgrade, and it may very well stay a bad deal. But maybe if the capacity comes up enough that it actually winds up being more economical on a cost per prisoner basis. So all that's a long-winded way of saying I'm just curious to see what the capacity of a Tier 2 POW camp is. And so let's find out. Which apparently I already did that off camera. We are upgrading a POW. I didn't think I had done that. Anyway, we're upgrading this POW camp to Tier 2, and then we'll see what the capacity is in 2 months. So hopefully I remember to look at it. And what I'm a little curious about is, after the battle we just fought, I think we captured about 300 guys. Matter of fact, I remember the number. It was 289 captured troops. Why aren't they in this prison camp? Huh? I don't understand that. Does it empty out when you upgrade? Is it not working right now? I didn't notice if there was anybody in there when I upgraded it. Anyway, we'll see what a Tier 2 POW camp gives us. If it just increases to 2,000, well, that sucks even more. But if it upgrades to something like 5,000, okay, maybe we'll kind of, because that would be a lower cost per prisoner. That might be slightly better. Enough about that. One of the things that this is not a 1.06 thing, it was just something I was doing because I've never done this in this game before. Had made this little squadron, and we're going to try to blockade trade nodes up here. There's a French and a British trade node that feed into the Union. Brought it up here, and it looked like we can't blockade. However, you can. You just need a perk. There is a perk called Sea Raiders, which allows blockading trade nodes. So the problem is, first you have to open up that perk slot. That perk levels up by blockading trade nodes, but you have to have the perk first, chicken and the egg sort of a thing. So we need a fleet to open a perk slot by some other method first. Get the Sea Raider perk, and then that fleet will be able to come up here and blockade these things. And the description of the perk, it should be pretty good. At Tier 1, it causes import prices to rise by 10%. At Tier 2 and Tier 3, it gets pretty high. At Tier 3, it causes a 50% increase in import prices for the Union. I think that's worth pursuing. So I'm going to try to do that. But first we have to get that perk slot open, and we can't do it that way. So if we look at our fleet here, it looks like he is picking up a little bit of perk slot XP from blockading. In my experience in past campaigns, getting XP from blockading was extremely, extremely slow, to the point I'm not sure I've ever had a blockading fleet get a perk slot. I wasn't even sure it was working. But it looks like he's getting some XP here, so maybe they've corrected that, or adjusted that. So our Atlantic Raiders can just continue blockading these 7 New England ports for as long as the Union lets them. And then if he actually gets this perk slot filled, then we'll get him to blockading those trade nodes as well. Enough of that. We saw in the last results of the last battle that we had captured something like 3,000 rifles and quite a few guns, but forgot to look at what that meant for our armory. Let's have a look at that. And oh, by the way, this isn't captured. This is our little order of 12-pounder howitzers did arrive. So we've got 10, not 2 now. I got 8 of them. and only 4 days left on our 8 24-pounder howitzers. But take a look at this. We have 13 10-pounder Parrott rifles. Well, I definitely didn't order those because I have not unlocked that project, and we did not have any before. So we got some rifles here, enough for not a full-size battalion, but you know, we could make a 12 or 8 gun battalion with these things. I'm pretty happy about that. Get some decent rifles into the arty. We also captured a few 14-pound Jameses. That's nice. Not enough for a unit yet. Quite a few Mississippi rifles. I was down to 2,200 rifles, and now we're back up above 5,000. I don't have that project unlocked either. So I captured about the brigade's worth. That's cool. Pretty happy about that. And I'm not sure if I had any Napoleons before or not. Those might be captured Napoleons. I'm not sure. And everything else looks pretty much like it was before, I think. So some Mississippi rifles, some 10-pound Parrotts. Sweet. Matter of fact, I want to make sure I don't forget. So I'm gonna, let's find Beauregard's Army, 12-pounder field guns. Perfect, right here. Munford, 12-gun battalion, and we have 13 10-pounder Parrotts to give them. There you go, Munford. That's going to make him a minor celebrity in the Army camp. Look at my shiny new weapons. And may as well find a place to put those Mississippis, huh? And there's already a couple units in this army that have Mississippis. Let's look at Shenandoah. There's some Mississippis. Hey, Bait. How would you like some Mississippi rifles? There you go. And the guys with the Mississippis, I like to give them a different uniform just so they stand out a little bit better on the battlefield. I've talked about that before. Been doing that for a couple campaigns actually. Okay, we could actually do another brigade. I'll let them. I'll give those to a brigade later. I also have one Redcoat brigade. One of our subs just asked. This fellow from Lincolnshire in the UK. He's a big fan, apparently, and asked about, hey, can you make a unit called the 10th Regiment of Foot and give them red coats and put them under Longstreet? So I decided I don't see any reason why I can't. So I did. So here we are. The old 4th Brigade under George Pickett is now the 10th Regiment of Foot with red coats and white trousers. Pickett's staying in command. I wasn't going to drop Longstreet down to brigade level command, but he is in Longstreet's division. So there you go, Scotty. And yes, it's a brigade, not a regiment. We'll just say it's a really, really big regiment. And I'll just roleplay that by saying, okay, so we're not going to intervene, but here's some volunteers, right? Kind of like like the Flying Tigers in China. Here's some volunteers, private citizens of their own accord coming to help you out. No involvement from our government, but here you go. And George Pickett gets to command them. All right. That's enough jibber jabber. Let's get time rolling. So we're capturing Alexandria here. Fine. Garnet is over here trying to fix the supply issues, slowly building a supply depot. Let's see here. Actually, let's get time rolling a little bit just to get the... Yeah, he's drawing a supply from Beverly, but only getting 95%. And I talked about this before. I'm still not sure what I want to do with I think Johnson's supply percentage has actually dropped. He was up in the 90s last time we had a look at him. He's down to 76%. And this we captured this depot, but it's just plain empty of everything. So I got to think that the economy is going to fill this supply depot up and this will fix itself. However, it's not trending that way, is it? And I don't know if upgrading the supply depot will... Yeah, I keep pronouncing it different. Half the time I say depot, half the time I say depot. I don't really know if upgrading this would fix that situation. And even if it does, I don't know if the money cost to upgrade is worth it. Nor do I see any other Union supply depots in the immediate vicinity to go grab. He was doing okay on supply down here between Munfordville, is that Munford? Yeah, Munfordville and Bowling Green. However, I think his army was smaller then. Maybe that's the problem. That is 5.2 million. Goodness gracious. Oh, I never noticed that in previous. Says there supply capacity 14,000 men. Has that always been in the tooltip? Or is that a new 1.06 thing? I mean, basically what that's saying is this thing is never going to catch up and supply this army because this army is about 17,000 men. Upgraded will supply faster and can store more goods. Capacity of this depot will rise by 200% and refilling speed increased by 150%. Okay, so I think it would solve the problem. The question is this problem worth 5.2 million to solve? Well, I think we need to find out. I'm going to go ahead and do it because I mean these things just keep coming up on this thing and that thing and the other, on weapons, on buildings, on everything. Oh, that's too expensive. Oh, that's too expensive. Oh, that's too expensive. If they're really that expensive, I mean the effect is that the game grinds to a halt. Because if I can't stay here and I can't supply this army, he's got to come back down. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, how do you advance? How do you mount an offensive? So, maybe I'll just completely break the economy, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of try to do things like we've done them in the past, in at least to some degree. And see if the economy can handle it. That's part of what I was talking about before on how I want this campaign to go on for a while, so we see longer term effects over time. So, upgrading that supply depot, which, let's see how long that's going to take. 92 days? Well, that's not a solution. I mean, he's gonna reach like 0% or 0 provisions in like a week. Yeah, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to say about that. Okay. Well, this supply depot is almost done, but it's going to be a tier 1. Same thing. This army is at some point pretty soon going to be also over 14,000. However, he's also drawing supply from Fayetteville. He's actually at 100% as it is. Let's get time rolling. Oh, I think I did. I think this guy's probably done with his. No, I never built it. I need to build the telegraph station here. There we go. Okay, capture of Alexandria is done. Where did... Patterson has gone far enough back up here that he's no longer visible. I'm going to go ahead and slide Johnston kind of back over here near Front Royal. At some point, I think McClellan is going to come back toward Winchester. Did complete that supply depot. He could be moving over here. We wouldn't know it yet. Oh, Beauregard's picked up a perk for his army. Ambulance Corps. As discussed before. September 1st. Let's see if we got another intel and economy report. Yes. A- credit rating, yeah. Expansion, below average wealth. Tax revenues increased. Well, that's good. 0 buildings. Exports did go up. Imports went way up as well. Still a huge imbalance there. Economy lacks iron. No shit. But no overproduction of products noticed either. Yeah, that's a surprise. Why are we lacking iron? Because we only have 1 iron ore mine. There is this tab up here. I don't know if we've hovered over this before, but whole bunch of shortages. Coffee, food, leather, weapons, machine parts, bricks. Maybe it would have been a good idea to build a brick works down at New Orleans before. Gunpowder. Iron ore. 15.8 produced, 61 demanded. That's why we're upgrading that mine. Looks like we need to do the same thing with a lead mine somewhere. Okay, so they made that 2-year. Apparently time was running while I thought the time stopped while looking at those reports. Oh, well, we're done looking at that. And then also, you got a list of companies that aren't making money. They're losing money. And that includes our ironworks, the Richmond Armory, the Tredegar Ironworks, the Thomas Riggins. And I believe those others are that Jones Macklin, I think, is a foundry. And that all goes back to the prices for their incoming, for their raw materials, their pre-goods are higher than the goods that they are producing. Like if we look at this Tredegar Ironworks in Richmond, I mean, he is producing stuff. It's just that the prices of iron, lead, gunpowder, coal, and wood are higher than the prices for weapons, ammo, steel, small arms, which is kind of weird because these things are all let's see here. Yeah, there's a shortage of weapons. So if there's a shortage of weapons, I don't know why the prices of weapons are low, right? He's making an in-demand good there. So I know I need to get more iron ore and therefore iron moving in the chain below, but the supply and demand doesn't really make a lot of sense to me either. $175 for weapons, which are made from iron and wood. Which wood is $45. And iron is $63. So that's a combined cost of just roughly about $110. Oh, except it needs 2 iron. 110, so yeah. So the 2 iron and 1 wood that goes into making a weapon are costing about the same as the price of the finished product. So there's not making any money. That said, shouldn't be losing that much money either. So basically that facility is breaking even on weapons, but it makes several. So it's losing money on other items. Like artillery ammo, steel, small arms, artillery. Anyway, that's what that ineffective company is. They're bleeding money. And what was that last thing down there? I thought there was another section at the bottom for transport bottlenecks. It's not showing any. Okay. I thought maybe it just wasn't showing because time was stopped. Another thing worth mentioning that I've thought of is if the player is having this rough a time figuring out the new economy with all the extra decisions that have to be made and balancing cost and benefit, how is the AI doing with that? Okay, we completed a foundry. I forgot where we built that, but I remember in Georgia. Yeah, that's right. We put a foundry down in Georgia. Right down here. For the iron ore to come down this railroad. And there's some workforce in here. Workforce. This guy. Available workforce, 75%. Producing iron and bronze. Maybe that'll help out the Ironworks. Okay? Hopefully. What does it cost to upgrade? $6 million. Let's just let that percolate for a little while. Actually, how much did that add? How much is he producing? $7.7 thousand pieces. That's gotta help, right? Confederacy foundries. We had 3, now we got 4. Okay, so it's not producing as much as the others, but it's not insignificant. And these are probably tier 2s, I would guess. No movement here from McDowell. And now Johnson's back up to 100%. Which is he also getting supply from an IIP? Maybe this harbor kicked in and is helping make up the difference. In any case, at least he's not. Not only is he back up to 100%, but he's refilled his provisions. So this army's in good shape again. Okay. I think Army of the Mississippi. Evansville is controlling a pretty good portion of Kentucky over here. Tempted to go over and grab it. Yeah, let's do that. Come down the river. Yeah, there you go. Built something. Fayetteville Depot. That's prices. So that's complete. Has he gotten his men? He has. Almost 16,000 men. Looks like Lion went over this way. Estimated 7,500 men. Estimated 14,000 here. That kind of smells like units transferred from Army of the West to the Army of the Mississippi. Ooh, another little army up here. Currently 5,000, increasing to 8,000 estimated. Let's go back up to Springfield. Capturing Evansville. Any movement over here? Doesn't look like it. Bad news, low on food, abysmal condition. Good news, apparently 100% supply now for garnet. So that should fix itself. Eventually. There we go. Evansville captured. Now, let's run back up to our supply depot. Go back to Louisville. See how long the Union takes to come recapture Evansville, if at all. Okay, we've got Military 2 policy now enacted, and so our military subsidies should be coming up. And in fact, I don't know how long that's been there. Maybe we've got another project available. But let's go to policies. Where do we want to go from Military 2? We were at A-. Our credit rating is actually improved. That's interesting. I think I need to get some industry going. I'm going to go ahead and do industrialization 1. And let's look at some projects here. What do we got available? Well, we got a few. We can do another level of admin reform. We can go civil order. That's military. Even though it's on the civil side, what does that do for us? Further decreases negative impact on support for military actions. I don't think we're having an enormous problem with that, and it's a little vague to me exactly what they mean by military actions. Are they talking about the draft? Is this something we need if we enact conscription? I don't think I'm going to go with that for now. Cotton is king. Further improves relations with Europe. I don't think I'm really interested in that. Is there anything else? Oh, there is. Plantation mechanization. Further increases cotton production. I think I mentioned this before. That's a major trade item for the Europeans. We're getting blockaded some, but a lot of that's getting through too. Let's go subsidy type. So choosing between these two, yeah, I think I want to go I would choose plantation mech between these two. Do we want to save? Further increases farm output and available volunteers. Yeah, okay, mechanization, because it frees up. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Ooh, I think maybe I'm going to save up for farm mech. That sounds nice. And what does subsidized ag do? Further increases ag productivity. That sounds good too. How's our manpower pool doing? Come on, give me the 59K for now. I'm going to go plantation mechanization, but I'm pretty interested in this farm mech too. Okay. Yeah, I'll take another admin reform. Further increase the speed of researching policies. Okay, well, we've got the rebore muskets available. We also have trade warfare. Well, we got a number here. Further increases effectiveness of blockades and blockade running. So it's not just going to help our blockade up off New England, but it'll also help our efforts against the Union blockade. So I guess that would translate into this will decrease the effectiveness of their blockade a little bit. That sounds pretty good. I think recruit agents improves intel. Okay. I'd said before that I was going to go for both Springfield and reboards. However, it turns out, as I've seen mentioned in comments, and also I have seen in another campaign, Worms and Warriors is doing a CSA campaign as well. These things are every bit as expensive as the Springfields. Right? They're not cheaper. Having learned that, no, I'm not going to do them. Because I'm going to be spending that same 500 plus per rifle for these that I do ordering the Springfield, so I don't see a point to the reboards now. Now, if I hadn't taken that starter arms agent policy, I wouldn't have the Springfield rifles available. If I took a different set of 3 starting policies at the beginning of the campaign, in that case, yeah, you'd go for the rebore first as the cheapest, get some weapons out there, and then work on these others. But the two, it's redundant, is what I'm saying. I didn't think it would be, but now that I understand how it works, it's just redundant. I'm going to go for recruitment. Anything down here? Man, these Diplo ones are filling up slow. And oh, by the way, I was thinking I would get the Austrian rifles as well. But they're probably even more expensive. And they're probably about the same cost. Or excuse me. The Lorenzas are pretty similar to the Springfield as well, and they're probably more expensive, is what I was trying to say. So Lorenzas and Enfields may be redundant as well, unless, because they're imported, not produced, maybe you get a much quicker delivery time on these. That's worth taking a look at. But that'll have to be later, obviously, because it's going to take a while for these to fill up. On the other hand, I'm not sure what else I really have to spend diplomacy subsidies on than European weapons. There's really not much over here on this side for diplomacy. Send envoys, further improve relations. Not really that. What about trade deals? Further increases the profits from foreign trade deals. So I think that just boosts your trade over the international nodes. That's probably as good a use of economic subsidies as any. Diplomatic subsidies is what I meant there. Anyway, I've chosen those. Oh, look at that. So Lion comes over here, Lebanon, builds a supply depot, runs off and leaves it, and we didn't capture that. He simply left, and because of Carrollton, Arkansas, Lebanon is just naturally in their sphere of influence. We could still be sitting down at Fayetteville, and this Union constructed depot would still be Confederate now. And there's some stuff in it. That's helpful. Thanks, Nathaniel. Appreciate it, buddy. Okay. And he's actually drawn some supply from it now, and price is at 100%. I see no reason not to just continue on to Lebanon. Head on over there. Johnson should be back at Louisville by now. Yeah. At 100% supply. Yeah. How's our front line looking with that new pickup of Evansville? That looks better. We got a little chunk of Indiana and Illinois too. Hey, I just said I wasn't going to take Washington. I didn't say I wasn't going to take other things. Oh. Okay, Army of the Ohio has come down into Kentucky. And that's a pretty recent sighting too. It's not time late. 9,500 men. Okay. Let's move Johnston over to Frankfurt. Ah, more updated. So if we can force whoever this is, Army of the Ohio, to retreat, and follow that up with taking Covington. And there we go. That is Joseph Mansfield. Okay, so we've got 17,000 to 9,700. I believe that that is going to have to wait for the next episode. If you like the content of what we're doing here with this campaign and other GTCW content, leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe if that strikes your fancy. But at any rate, thank you very, very much for watching. I really do appreciate it.